Hi guys, it's Luetin here, and back for you with another breakdown of a round back on Conquest, back on Azadi Palace. Azadi Palace. I know it really bugs you, some of you, I can't pronounce this perfectly right, but yeah, Azadi Palace. Okay, so we've got the M1 Abrams, and we're going to take the Abrams down the road, and so, something that was pointed out to me by one of the guys who plays on my server, and I will apologise because I couldn't see who it was that was talking, because we had about 5 or 6 of us who were actually talking, so I didn't see. It was actually a round that we lost, I believe. But anyway, pointed out a very good thing to me, which is that for console, anyway, on console Conquest, you really only need to hold A, B and C. D and E are not relevant. By the way, if you are the person who's playing with me on my server, and I don't think you will reply to me, because when we were talking about my server and channel, you guys were saying that you don't really watch YouTube. So I think they just found that my server, they enjoyed playing on my server, so fair enough. But as with many Conquest bases, on console things play out a little bit differently because of the generally lower ticket count. And when you're on a lower ticket count, it means that you obviously have less people to spread around the map, which means that you often end up in a situation where you have to kind of consolidate your options, okay? And what I mean by that is you basically have to look at the scale of the map, and on these larger maps sometimes you have to realise that certain bases are just not worth going for. A good example would be also on what's the name of the first base? Monolith. That's it, sorry. I was going to cut that out, but actually I'll leave that pause just in there. You can just listen to me thinking. Monolith. On the Monolith base, when you play Conquest on Monolith, often people can get so obsessed with that. Now again, I would imagine, not that I know from experience, I would imagine that on PC, because you have more players, you can afford to have a bit of a battle at the Monolith itself and still have enough players to spread around the rest of the map and have some combat. On console, you don't have enough players for that. So, for example, as I say, on Conquest on Monolith, if you have like 5 or 6 people and they decide they want to have a bit of a battle around the Monolith base, well, there's not really much point you dedicating a huge amount of forces to it, because it's only one base. If you spread the rest of your team around those other bases and leave them, the rest of those guys to sit up in that tower doing whatever it is they feel like they really want to do up there, then you're just going to dominate and win the game, because they're going to lose all the other bases, because they're over prioritizing a base. They're putting too much, they're investing too much. That's what they're doing. They're investing too much in a single base. And this one is not too dissimilar, because Azadi is quite a large map, and with console you don't have enough people. So what you really need to do is invest and place your players in, you know, the most optimum place possible. And the most optimum place is A, B and C, because they're very close together. You can run between them, and again, that is key for console, being able to run between bases, because you might end up in a situation where that's necessary. I have to say, it's another reason why I don't particularly favour Conquest on console, to be honest, because I find very often that, you know, you want to leave people a base to defend, but it's kind of like there's just not quite enough people, which is very, very frustrating. But, you know, anyway, it's just the way it goes. So anyway, back with this one. So you can see what we're doing is pretty much holding A, B and C here, and we're just kind of around the area here. I'm taking a bit of a beating. Sorry, I was so overwhelmed by the RPGs coming in at me there that it actually kind of muddled my words. I was like, and I'm sitting right down here. One kill. I haven't really done much. I've just kind of driven around as a tank. I've been sort of chauffeuring my my heavy machine gun player. What weapon are we going with today? It's Luetin's weapon lottery. It's the KH-2002, which is a lovely gun. If you haven't tried the KH-2002, then you should try it out, because it's a good gun. That's my weapon review for you for today. Try out the KH-2002. It's a good gun. It's a burst weapon. It's got a single shot and burst. That's pretty much it, but it's a very nice weapon. It fires very quickly, as you can see. It also fires more accurately if you're not getting shot in from the side there. Weirdly, for the KH-2002, I always go with the same optic, and it's unusual because I don't really use that optic on the other ones. I forget the name now. What the hell is it called? Like a PK holoscope or something, isn't it? Holoscope or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, it's not. I know it's not the default holo. It's got some other name. I can't remember. I'm really bad with names of things. I'm bad with names of people. Seriously, I struggle to remember the names of people I've worked with for years and stuff. It's really bad. I'm terrible with names. My memory is just like a leaking sponge. Anyway, so this is a bit of a random, all over the place commentary today. This is not so much of a dedicated one. It's mainly because, as I say, we're kind of on Conquest and things are just sort of going on, really. Just trying to defend these sort of areas here. Spot these guys going in. I find the way Conquest is a game of kind of what would be, it's like a tug of war, you know. You need to sort of, you see what's going on and you push and pull between the bases, so you have to kind of analyze where you need to be, where you need to go. This, I have to say, this commentary is not such of a, it's not like a very detailed serious commentary. It's more me just kind of talking around a few topic areas. Don't worry, I do plan to do some more sort of serious breakdowns, because I really do think that Conquest for console, I think, can be really, really enjoyable, but I unfortunately think that a lot of people don't have the kind of tactical sort of mind for just sort of preempting bases. Like, often when we play Conquest, I'm often talking to my guys in the team, and we'll have like sort of several bases secure, and I'll say, okay guys, start heading to A, and they'll be like, but Luetin, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'll say, start heading to A and you'll see why, and then all of a sudden A will start to go down. By the way, I didn't call it out on this one though, I'm just literally using that as an example. But yeah, your ability to be able to predict and test where people are going to move to is really, really key. My ability and where I kind of learnt to be able to predict very, very well where people are going to move to comes from World of Warcraft, because, as I've said before, in World of Warcraft, there we are, I was just finding, there was one guy here, John, and just hunting him down there. In World of Warcraft, there's a game mode I've talked about before, Azadi Palace, and it's pretty much basically Conquest. You have 5 bases, you've got to cap them up. So I played that solidly for about 2-3 years, and it's pretty much my favourite game mode for PvP in WoW, and we were very, very, very successful at that game mode. I seem to remember days where we had like multiple days in a row and didn't lose a single game playing all day long. So yeah, but you know, every game's different, and it depends on your team, it depends on the map, it depends on what's happening, it depends what kind of day you're having yourself as well. And but often it's not complex, it's not rocket science, like pretty much all things in Battlefield. It's really not that difficult. It's all just a matter of common sense and looking at what's happening in the game. For example, right now we've got A, B and C. So from D and E, they're either going to come straight onto us, and if they're coming straight onto us, we're going to know that they're doing that. If they're not, well, they're probably doing something else, and we need to try and think around that. So, okay, you know, if they're not coming to C, where are they? Are they going around? Are they going? And there we go, like you see, A. It's always a pretty good sort of estimation that, for example, if you've got C and B, alright, they're the nearest targets. Now, if the enemy team has got any sense at all, they will not probably go for the nearest targets, because they know that we're going to be there in heavy numbers. And whoa, a bit of a noob fight right there. They know that we're going to be there in heavy numbers, and therefore they're probably going to go for a separate base, which is, you know, a good thing to do. They're going for A, and again, let's just put this on the flip side. If you were the other team that to us right now, okay, then going up to A is actually a good thing to do, because it means that by taking A, what you're going to do is you're going to pull us off of these 2 bases, and then you can use that time to push in and try and cap them. So that's why flanking teams are always really, really useful, because if you can send like a squad of 4 guys, or even 3 or 2, if you can send those guys straight up onto, as I say, up to A here, if they had run up this road and capped that base, they may be taking a rhino or something up here, maybe even come down into B, which you can see they're doing right now. Look, this is exactly what they have done. I hadn't even watched this back, but it turns out that's what they had done. They'd taken a vehicle up here to cap these bases, and you can see that in doing this, what they've done is they had to pull multiple people off, and we're just clearing this base out as well. But in order to secure this, look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys, and now look what we're losing. We're losing Charlie, and so the little plan of kind of taking the pressure off of other areas is totally working for them. And this is the kind of thing that you can do in Conquest. It's all about, it's not just about a straight out fight, it's a tactical mind game of working out where you're going to put pressure, where you're going to make the enemy move to. It's pretty much a game of I wouldn't say chess, because it's not as mental and complicated as that, but it is a game of sort of, you know, understanding your enemy and making them move around the map. Some people don't play it like that, of course. Some people literally will just throw sheer weight of numbers at positions and hope that they take them. That's one way of playing it, and depending on what team you're facing, that may work. But if you're against a team who has any basic sense at all, that's not going to work, and you're going to need to use a little bit of mind power in order to get them. a little thing that I'm doing right here, not to make too much of a mention of it, I've only got 3 rounds left in my gun, which probably would have been more helpful for me to notice that previously. But just simply notice what happened there was as the attackers came in, also by the way I would have been a little bit more successful had I had more rounds there. I probably could have taken out a couple of guys. But you know, often if you see an attacking force coming to you at a base, if they're coming straight at you head on, alright, then a good thing to do is to, you know, if you've got a few people there, leave a couple of your guys, move it, do a quick flank like this. So I just kind of ran around the side, and you know, they've come to the base head on, so they're not going to be expecting that. They're not going to be expecting you to be suddenly behind them. So moving around like that can be a good thing to do. A couple of guys here, just making sure this area is secure. Clearing and moving on, that's another really good thing to do as well. If you have had a lot of action in an area like this, there's a reasonable chance that there may be 1, 2, 3 players who are still kind of active and hiding in the area. So before you feel confident to sort of run on and move back to another area, then ooh, a Luetin knife kill. What a rarity. That's like seeing a shooting star or, you know, asteroid or something once every 2 months. I only knife when like the only times when I knife are panic situations and when I'm out of ammo, and that's pretty much it. People say, why do you not like to knife people, Luetin? I don't know, I just don't. So and again you can see that we're losing B, so they've clearly moved up that right hand road and taken it, but at this stage in the game when we're 140 tickets up, I'm not really going to spend the time to kind of go back there when we've got this bit of firefight going on right now. Make sure this is clear as best I can whilst being taken down before moving over there, and I'm pretty sure there's people that are going to be moving over there to secure that as well. So this has really been a little bit of a random casual conversation. It's probably because I'm recording this quite late at night, and I'm also about to go on a trip, so going away for a few days, and I'm just recording a little breakdown. I did select this video as one of my things that I thought would be a reasonable round to talk about, because I think it shows some good teamwork and general movement. But if you've got any experience of sort of situations that have happened on Conquest maps, specifically, you know, Azadi or, for example, Monolith, if you have some experience of those maps in terms of things that have happened, it'd be good to hear. And, you know, I'd be interested to hear sort of any tactics that you guys like to play as a squad. Do you have a squad tactic that you run with when you're playing Conquest? Do you try to work as a flanking team? Do you always defend? And also, I'm interested to hear from console players. How do you find investing time in defending? Do you think that, for example, investing time in defending is a worthwhile thing? Or do you think the fact that you have such low player counts for Conquest maps that defending is something that you almost can't handle? It's not really worth it. Would you, for example, would you leave one person, or would you literally leave no one at all and hope that you can just leave like a running fluid squad and you can send them from base to base, which is often the way I run it, I have to say. You just hope on the fact that the other team will not necessarily move to some of the bases, and you just react to those situations as quickly as possible. However, I'd like to say, look, this is what's happened. I've spent so long at sea here with the rest of my guys. We really should have probably reacted and moved more quickly to get back over on A and B. But this is just another good example of how moving around the map quickly and hitting onto bases and so on really is a key thing to do in almost any game mode. You really need to move quickly. I think talking a few games about speed, reaction time and so on are going to be quite important, because it's something I'm noticing more and more, which is causing a really big problem. People take far too long to react to situations, and often you need to be moving and engaging in different positions before a situation sets itself. A lot of the time people wait until almost an entire base has been destroyed or taken before they actually react. You need to be aware of what's happening and react before that goes down. I have to say as well, a lot of the time people keep saying to me, this is a comment I get regularly at the moment, and people are saying, Luetin, you expect far too much of people. I really don't think that I do, because a lot of the time the things that I'm expecting of people are literally nothing further than complete common sense. Things like, for example, on MCOMs or Conquest bases, don't leave them fully undefended, alright? This applies to Rush a little bit more than Conquest itself, but I cannot bear when I see like 7 people all running to an MCOM because it's been armed and they leave one absolutely undefended. It baffles the mind, it really does. It drives me absolutely berserk. Anyway, so that's been this round here, guys, coming up towards the end now. If there are any particular Conquest maps that you want me to look at, please list it below. I'm not promising that I'm going to do it or anything, because it's not a big one, but Conquest's not a big one for me. It's not one of my favourite game modes anymore, to be honest, because of the map size on Battlefield 3 compared to Bad Company 2, and just the sort of general gameplay layout and stuff as well, as you know. But yeah, one thing that I will do is some of these overviews. People have been really liking the kind of map overviews I've been doing, where I sort of design and draw on top of the maps and show routes, positions and different ways you can move around. I have actually done that with Sane Crossing, and Sane Crossing is an excellent Conquest map. I might actually play a few rounds of Sane Conquest or put my server on it for a night. That might be quite a good one to do. I think I might do a Sane Conquest night, because it's such a good map. You've just got 2 tanks and then all infantry. Works really, really, really well, and its map layout and design really lends itself to that game mode, so I think that would be a really exciting one to do. Hope you've enjoyed my rambling commentary for today, and we'll be back with some more specific and tactical breakdowns for further videos, which will be coming up very soon. As always, thanks for watching. Please rate and share if you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.